Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Downtown Sports. It's Mouth with the South, John Schiavone, along with Beast of the East, Jonathan Perriente, and we're going to cover the last official week of the NBA regular season.
Regular
The
season.
play-in tournament is here.
The play-in is playoffs. You may as well
No,
consider the play-in a playoff. It's determining
I
seeding.
don't. No,
Last I checked, it's not an 83rd game of the year. The NBA regular season is 82 games. If it was a
yes,
tie, if they were tied and trying to determine a play-in spot, yeah, I would consider that an 83rd game of the year. But
this is not the playoffs,
the the
John.
the, the play-in is basically considered like a playoff spot, if you will.
Like a,
If a
like
team
a,
clinches the
but
10th
I have a
seed in a play-in game, it's like a playoff game.
but when they lose, they go back into the draft lottery.
I don't know why the NBA does this play-in shebang. It should have just been 8 seeds, East and West, done. No play-ins, no nothing. It should have been just eight,
Well,
and that's it.
no, because it gives because once again, you don't want teams completely tanking.
They're already fining teams now for tanking. The NBA is finally doing something about it by fining teams, but they have to do much more. I mean, you've heard Halliburton
They do.
even talking about the 65 game rule. You've had a lot of NBA
Yep.
players talking about it now.
Mm-hmm.
At what point does the NBA have to make a change in that department? There's a lot of
Well,
nuances the NBA has to fix. All
I
right, I'm going to be
mean,
very honest with you. They got to fix some things
65
here.
out of 82 games you have to play to qualify for awards. That actually makes sense. 82 games, you got to play 65 of them to qualify for
But then you have
season
a player that
awards.
might complain, hey, I played 81 out of 82 games, and I did way better with points per game and whatever than a guy that did 65 games. But we're going to give the guy that played 65 games the award when I played 81 games and didn't get hurt all year or whatever. Hmm?
If the guy that played 65 games played better than you, Mr. Guy who played 81 games, well, then yeah.
I don't know you, mouth. I don't believe sometimes I know you. I really don't.
You do know me, and I say the truth, and
Oh, and I
sometimes
don't
I
say the
have to
truth?
beat.
Okay.
No, sometimes you beat the drum of the consensus, lame brain, ESPN ridden sports opinion that's been fed down our throats for way too long.
I am not I am not Stephen A. Smith. Okay? I will never be Stephen A. Smith where I
Shout
flip-flop my
outs to
team.
Stephen A. Shout outs to Stephen A. Smith, who I've met on a couple of occasions, shook his hand.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you're above criticism, sir.
Yeah. I
You
mean, he had the
claim to be a
nerve.
Knicks fan, you're an analyst. Let me tell you
He had the nerve to
something.
call
You
out Mike
can't.
Breen. He had the nerve to call out Mike Breen for God's sakes.
Why? Oh, that's right, because your corporate masters told you to. Otherwise, you lose your millions in pay. This might.
Maybe that's why Dan Patrick was calling out the Knicks and everybody's talking about the Knicks. Oh, they're not going to beat Atlanta. It's going to be a failure. The Knicks are at a disadvantage.
Yep. And
Everyone's already
Beast,
writing the Knicks off.
when we end up on mainstream and our opinions all of a sudden change and they come back to episodes like this of Downtown Sports and they say, well, when you guys weren't paid, you had all these opinions. That's absolutely right.
Mm.
And we're going to keep, and when we make it, we're going to collect our paychecks
Hmm.
and we're going to say our opinions, the ones that were paid for on the paid platforms. And then you could hear our actual opinions on on the platforms that we pay for and operate. That's how money works.
Yeah.
So
So,
just listen and pay attention.
so,
But the thing is, on Downtown Sports, we actually give you the truth and we tell you how it all works. So this way, when when we get famous and people want to pull quotes from our old casts, we could just pull this little bit right after just to counter them. You know, when we end up on like all these big time shows eventually down the
so,
road. By the way, we ended up in a whole bunch more countries. I want to shout out our listeners in Georgia, shout out our listeners in Japan that have just started tuning in. It's great to see you. It's great to hear you. It's great to know that you're
Thank you,
sick.
everybody listening in the Middle East. Thank you for everybody listening in Nigeria, in Jamaica. throughout the Caribbean. Thank you to everybody for listening in Qatar, for listening
Wagwan.
to 94 countries now around the world. Really amazing how this all began. We had our anniversary show, what, last week?
Yep.
And look at how it's
And
grown in
six
in a
years,
span of
and
6 years.
now what? 3 years. Now what? 3 weeks on YouTube.
And look what's happening. We're starting to make our name. And, well, since we're on the subject of the Knicks, and we pretty much got into this, the Knicks and the Hawks, that's the matchup they're going to get. I know everybody wanted Knicks Raptors. Certainly, I would have
I
liked
did.
Knicks Raptors, thinking, Knicks own them, and how can you go wrong? But some look at the Hawks game as if it's a good playoff test for the Knicks. Go through the harder
I
road
do.
instead of taking the easy way out.
Hmm.
Okay, I can sort of get on that devil's advocate, if you will. I can get on
Well,
that.
here's the problem though. If they don't beat the Hawks in their first round exit,
Yeah.
then Jim Dolan's gonna blow the whole team
Well,
up and
and
trade
yeah,
for
then go for
Giannis.
Giannis and then get rid of Mike Brown. Yeah,
And
that's
this is gonna well, Mike Brown, if he doesn't make the NBA finals, he should be gone.
yeah.
Because, I'm sorry. He's had this team should have been a 60-win team this season. They ended up with how many wins?
The Knicks finished with 53 wins this year.
How many wins did they have last year?
I think they
It
had
was
like what
51.
two? Yeah, they were 50. Yeah, they had 51. They had two less wins than a year ago. So okay,
So
look, I
all this
mean,
hullabaloo over Tom Thibodeau, and you ended up what, a third seed with 53 wins. You improved
yeah,
by 2 wins, and you honestly looked worse doing it.
yeah. I mean, what's there to argue about? What is there to argue about? Honestly,
But they looked worse doing it. That's
all right.
why.
Well, the Knicks were able
In an
to.
Eastern Conference that, by all rights, is weaker than last year's.
Well, here's a piece of the difference. Last year, two of those wins the Knicks didn't have last year were against Boston. Two of the wins we got now, we didn't have against Boston last year. So there you go. There's your 2-win improvement.
Yeah, because Jason Tatum wasn't playing all year
Tatum played
long
the last
last.
game that we played the Celtics. There was no Jaylen Brown.
Yep. Well, Jaylen Brown to me this year is the linchpin that's going to make or
Yeah,
break Boston. They sat Jaylen Brown because
yeah.
they really didn't need to play him. They needed Tatum to build himself back up. And here's the problem. Tatum looks like 85%, not the 80% of Tatum
Yeah.
that, I thought would be enough for the Knicks to be. The problem is Tatum at 85% could get Boston to the finals.
Yes.
That's a scary proposition.
Yeah.
But Knicks Hawks, because you want to
Yeah.
go there and talk about our hometown series, because you want to just kill the vibe
I'm not trying to kill any
immediately before
vibes. I'm not trying to kill any vibes here. Okay, I want you to be.
because the national media, other than Stephen A. Smith, who's from New York City, who understands exactly what the hell we're watching, understands that the Knicks are, quite honestly, the best built roster in the NBA and the Eastern Conference. They just are.
That's fair.
Mikal Bridges could be an ancillary piece that does literal nothing.
Well, here's what you have in front of you. So tell me what you see right here.
And where do we get this from? Actually, yeah, they can even see it because this is from a Google search. Shout
Oh,
outs to Lord Google.
God
They
bless
take
Google.
care of all of our, yes. Actually, I think Google is our god. I'm
Here,
pretty
why don't we
sure
go
they
to?
are.
How about why don't we make it better? Let's go to the NBA.com site. Why don't we do that instead? Okay, we'll do that.
Sure.
Here we are. These are
Yeah,
the numbers, ladies
I'm
and
sure we're
gentlemen.
not. Yeah, NBA.com. The NBA provides us this info. This is you see all of their advertising is right there. So we are not going to get flagged. I promise you. By the way, yeah, all that.
So here's what we
Go ahead.
got. This was the 2021 playoff when the Knicks last played Atlanta. I know
Oh, and we
everybody's going
got
to be looking
dusted.
back at this. Everybody's going to be looking back at this because back then Atlanta had a guy named Rayford. Who was Rayford, by
Yep.
the way? For anybody that doesn't know, that's Rayford Trey Young,
Yep.
the big villain that everybody didn't like. Danilo
Remember
Gallinari was a former Knick playing for the Hawks that year. Okay? Hawks were a different team.
Valentine and Trey and well,
Bogdanovich. It was a you remember that. I remember the depth of that Hawks team. I do. It was only a few years ago.
yep.
And obviously, this is
Now
probably why
Trey's
everybody
been
doesn't believe the Knicks have a chance. This is why everybody
well.
believes the Knicks are in trouble.
No, this is not why everybody believes the Knicks are in trouble. Everybody believes the Knicks are in trouble because ever since Atlanta has banished Trey Young to the Shadow Realm, um, aka they traded him to the Wizards.
Yes.
Uh, they got he basically they sent him to be destroyed by the Dark Magician. Uh, and poor Anthony Davis and poor Trey Young.
Yeah. Well, these
Both
are
of them
just
in one year. Two superstars sent to the shadows in the same year.
well,
Isn't it sad?
you look at the
Rest in
difference with the
peace.
Knick team from the
Rest in
past.
peace to. By the way, rest in peace to Trey Young and Anthony Davis for being sent to the shadow realm.
Yes.
We'll
Well,
never we'll never hear from them again.
you look at the team from back then that the Knicks had to face when what Clint Capella was there, DeAndre Hunter, yeah, John Collins, Kevin Herter. I mean, Chris Dunn, Lou Williams. Wow, there's a Kungwu at the bottom now. Now a Kungwu's become their top player now. I mean,
Oh,
look
so
how
the
different
Hawks.
it was
So
back then.
the Hawks. So the Hawks starting lineup in 2021 has basically become the 2026 Detroit Pistons bench.
Well, this was like again, this was a mix of pretty much the other depth that they had, including Trey. And then you look at what the Knicks had. I mean, you had Derrick Rose. This is when Julius Randle was here. You had Randle, you had Quickly, you had Alfred Payton and Derrick Rose, Alec Burks. There's Reggie, there's RJ Barrett, there's Obi Toppin, right? There's Taj Gibson, right?
Yeah,
That was the good days of the
nobody from that
2021 Knicks back then. That was before
nobody from
Brunson.
that
That was
ro-
before we had any of the pieces we have now. Okay?
nobody from that roster is still here. Maybe
Uh,
Alec Burks is here.
no, Alec Burks ain't
Maybe.
here. Alec Burks ain't here. No, no.
He got buried at the end of the bench.
Nobody on this roster is here anymore. All right?
Oh,
There you have
I
it.
thought Taj Gibson was buried at the end of the bench still,
No, Gibson, he did he was I think the Grizzlies ended up getting him as like a veteran piece this year, kind of
or
like to
something. I don't know.
yeah, they didn't like yeah. I know Taj Gibson
I know
did
they
sign
finally got rid of Alfred Payton, right? Alfred
yeah,
Payton
he's
is
long
finally
gone.
playing somewhere else.
Yeah, Taj
He
Gibson's
wasn't long
on the
gone. He was
Grizzlies.
here last. No, he wasn't long gone. Alfred Payton was a Knick last year.
Alfred Payton was a Pelican and Hornet 2024-25. After that, before that, he was gone from the league for about 3 years after last playing with Phoenix. So, yeah, Alfred Payton's been kind of in and out. He's probably, playing, he's playing in the G League right now. All right, he's playing in the
Yeah,
G
but
League at this
wait a
point.
minute. Payton wasn't Alfred Payton playing for the Knicks,
Yeah, 2019 to 2021. Yeah, he played on that
but
Knick
in the
team that lost to the
postseason,
Hawks.
who was playing in the postseason as a backup point guard to Brunson? The
2021 Brunson wasn't here yet. He wasn't a Knick
No,
yet.
I'm talking in 24.
Oh, who was backing up Brunson, you say? Okay. Hold on.
Uh,
Well,
wasn't that Alfred Payton?
no, Peyton was gone from the Knicks. Peyton was gone
No,
from the Knicks after
it
that.
was Payton. He was in the
No,
G League. I thought it was back.
Alfred Payton was a Pelican in 24 and then a Hornet in 25. That's where he was.
Then who was backing up Brunson in the playoffs? Who
From
was
last year's.
sniping
Okay.
threes?
I mean,
Who was that guy snapping threes? We were literally talking. It was. I swear to God, it was Alfred Payton.
remember you had Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride
Yes,
was here around that time.
it
Um,
was. There was Deuce. Yes, and who else?
hmm. Well,
Alfred
Derrick
Payton.
Rose was no, Alfred Payton. It wasn't Alfred Payton. I'm sorry to say. I mean, I'd
Oh
love,
Jesus!
I'd love
I'm
to
gonna.
believe, I'd love for
I'm
all of us
gonna
to think that's who it
disappear
was, but
from the
it's,
camera.
you want to
I
disappear.
might have to disappear from the camera for a couple of seconds because I swear.
Okay, you don't want to believe me. That's fine. Okay.
It's
Here,
not that I
let's
don't want to believe you.
you had
It's not that
Cameron
I don't.
Payne. Oh, here, Cameron Payne.
Oh, that's the name I was
Yeah,
thinking.
Cameron
Yes.
Payne.
Cameron Payne. Okay.
Yes.
I'm like, why does the name Payne?
Yeah,
Payne.
Cameron
Okay, that
Payne.
makes
Okay. Yeah,
Cameron
Cameron Payne
Payne.
was good. I liked Payne. He was a solid backup. Okay, he could get some minutes. Cool. Okay. Okay. But that was
Alfred
then.
Payne and Cameron Payne, basically the same damn player.
Okay. But
No.
again, I only showed those stats from 21
Is
for a
he still
reason.
on the team?
Is who's still on the team? Campaign, he's a Sixer now.
Oh, great.
Okay? And the Sixers are in a play-in game of their own, playing the Magic. Okay? But let's look at the Knicks right now. Obviously, what happened 4 years before, about 4 or 5 years ago, was 5 years ago. But everybody obviously looks at that and goes, well, Knicks didn't do so well against Atlanta back then, and Atlanta got stronger after they let Trae Young go. They got NAW, Nikhil Alexander Walker. You get Jalen Johnson. You get McCollum. You get some new depth pieces, and suddenly Atlanta is a more dangerous team than they were 5 years ago, and they have a lot more 3-point shooting, and the Knicks don't play well against the three. So people are obviously going to look at that and go, Knicks were lucky they even beat Atlanta toward the end of the season only because McCollum's shot was a bit late at the buzzer.
Yep.
People are looking at all those things. And
Here's the thing with the Hawks that should scare the Knicks. The second they got rid of Trae Young, Kristaps Porzingis, the team moved, the team ran, the team played faster than the Knicks. They played the same style of ball the Knicks do, except they're younger and they're faster and they make
yeah.
better substitutions and they actually hit their shots.
And then eventually Porzingis jumped ship and went to Golden State. And now he's playing alongside Curry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ever since Porzingis and Trae Young left, the Hawks have been markedly better.
Yeah. And that's where
Ditch,
this represents a big
ditch the
challenge.
old stars and let the young, hungry kids go out there and do the work. Everybody says, "Oh, the NBA is a league where only the superstars could do it." Well, unless you let some of these old stars move on, you don't know what kind of new stars you might have.
Old stars call them old lions. I can look at it either way. But obviously, a lot of the world is concerned the Knicks won't get past Atlanta. Maybe they're right about that. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe the Knicks
It's
are
better.
looking at this as fuel, and maybe the Knicks are going to be the one thing we know about the Knicks in these playoffs, and we know this very, very easily. They always seem to bring out their better part of their game when their backs are against the wall, when people count them out.
That was the Thibodeau Knicks.
You don't think Mike Brown's Knicks have the
What
same thing?
kind of coach is Mike Brown?
Well,
What kind of motivation can Mike Brown bring out of his squad?
why don't you look at the final
What
5 games of the regular season? Because everybody thought, oh, the Knicks were not going to beat the Celtics. They were not going to beat the Hawks. They were not going to beat the Hornets and whatnot. Those last, 5 games of the season, nobody thought the Knicks were going to even win one of them, let alone the Knicks won
uh
4 out of 5.
I don't know what nobody you're referring to because the national media thinks a lot higher of the Knicks than the New York media does.
Yes,
Like
some do,
I've
and then there's
really
some that
noticed
don't. You
this.
have obviously look at guys. We already talked about Stephen A.
Stephen A. Smith is the New York media.
What about Kendrick
Let's be real.
Perkins? What about your boy Kendrick Perkins? Even when the Knicks beat the
He ain't my
Celtics,
boy. I don't know. He first off, Boston. There you
okay,
go.
but he was
Boston
once. Oh, I
bias.
love, I love
Next.
how the Knicks play, and then all of a sudden Knicks beat the Celtics, but the Celtics are not at full power. And then he goes, "Well, the Celtics didn't have Jaylen Brown. They were not playing with all their top players, and I'm not
That's
impressed."
that's
That's a
true
quick
though.
turnaround, isn't it?
But that's true though.
Anytime the Knicks have to play a game that Reggie Miller's calling the game, do you ever hear Reggie Miller say good things about the Knicks? He can't wait to always say something negative about them because he always hated the
Well,
Knicks from the day he was a Pacer as a player.
Reggie Miller understands. I think Reggie Miller really buys into the heel persona when it comes to New York
Well,
City.
Halliburton certainly did. Trae
Yeah,
Young
he taught it
certainly
to him.
did. Trae Young certainly
Yep.
did.
Listen, they understand that if you have a city of 8.8 million people that hate you, you become a celebrity and a god everywhere else around the country. If New York City hates you, you are nationally famous.
Well, here's what we got here. Much of these Hawks have really not been in a playoff, majority of them. Okay. For some of them, they've not been here, not as much experience. And, people look at, well, yeah, that works the Knicks way, but then,
This is the Hawks are last year's Pistons. Okay, this is the same thing. They're gonna play it tough. They're gonna be
I
up by
expect they will.
20 in the third quarter. But here's the thing: how many games is this Knick team
Hmm.
going to go into this time around up, down 15 points, and then come back?
Hmm. I don't
Like
know about
that's the
that portion.
question.
That's going to be the tougher challenge. With Thibodeau, you knew the Knicks were always one that will come back in a game and they can outgrind the opponent. Can they do the same with Brown? That's what I think a lot of people don't know. Now, Mike Brown's had a good track record in the first round of the playoffs. He's had a very solid record, at least in round one of a playoff. Okay. I'm
If
not
he
going against
loses in
Mike Brown
round
for
one of the
that.
playoffs, he should be fired.
Okay. Okay. So the
No,
Knicks, yeah, they're going to have expectations. I get that. You know what? They've been here long enough. They're not the team that's playing with house money anymore. That's the Hawks that are playing with house money right now. I agree with
yep.
that. Okay.
The Knicks haven't been playing with house money for the past, what, 3 seasons?
Yeah. Now the Knicks have a very important X factor that is either going to make or break this entire series. And I think we know who it is.
Mitchell Robinson.
No. Mitchell will
No,
make an impact. Mitch already
no.
made Mitch
He
will
is
make an
the X
impact.
factor. He
Uh
is the X factor.
I look
He's
at the X
playing every
factor.
game.
I look at the X factor being Karl Anthony Towns because not getting enough shots. People complain about he doesn't the fouls he keeps drawing.
He's
People still complain
better
about it.
at he's better when he plays the four. He's not a center. I don't know how many times I can keep repeating this. Karl Anthony Towns is not a center. He is a power forward.
Fair.
So the more you keep trying to put a square block into a round hole, it's just not going to freaking work.
Mhm.
Can we please just have a situation where Mitchell Robinson is the starting center for this team?
Well, here's the
Can
good
it
news if
just
you're the
be?
Knicks now. You do not have to worry about any of these being back-to-back series. Mitch is going to play. Period. He's playing.
So then Mitch needs to be the starting at five. Karl Anthony Towns needs to be out there at four. Bridges at three. OG at two. And Brunson at one.
What we also can't see in this
That
series, yeah.
need Josh Hart cannot be in the starting lineup.
No, I would
I'm
hope Hart will
sorry.
come off the bench. I obviously will hope so for that. The great thing, at least with the Knicks, is for the most part, they're going to be healthy going into this go around. Obviously, OG has the ankle. We'll see how that looks. But I think the time off and little break, I think will buy OG time that he should be able to
If
play.
not, then Hart. But the good news for Hart is he could literally replace one. He could replace any spot 2 through 5.
Yeah, that's the
So
flexibility that you have. That's the good flexibility he gives you.
yeah.
So if the
So
Knicks
to
need to do
me,
that, they
that's
will do
fine.
that.
He could replace 2 through 5 in the starting lineup at any point, anytime. It's all good when it comes
Yeah.
to Josh Hart.
I'm also going to look at
So
the
I need
Knicks.
him on the bench.
I'm going to look at the Knicks also and how they do shot in shot selection. Is Brunson going to be taking too many more shots and everybody else will just stand around and let Brunson hold onto the ball for 15 to 16 seconds per possession? If that's happening, that's going to be trouble. That's big
Nope.
trouble if Brunson's
I
doing that.
can't. And if Brunson starts to become that kind of player, then we need to start thinking about moving off of Jalen Brunson.
Well, there are a lot of things that are going to be X factors in this series, other than
Because to
obviously
me,
Mitch and Cat.
then, I'll only put Cat at the 5 if Giannis is at the 4 and somebody else is running point.
Well, that's thinking ahead to the future. We're going in the direction of if the Knicks don't even get past this round. I'm hoping they do get past this round.
Oh no, if you tell me that Brunson's going to do nothing but play ISO ball all series long, then that's exactly what we're talking about.
You've already heard some of the Hawks talking a little smack. Dyson Daniels been talking about Brunson. I'm going to be tough for him to defend against, even though Brunson has scored about 25, 30 points on him every time the Knicks have played the Hawks when he's been out there.
Yeah.
But, you know, The Hawks, the Hawks tanked pretty much the last game because they wanted the Knicks. I hope they understand the decision of what they did if it doesn't
They
come back to bite them.
wanted the Knicks over the Cavs. Really?
You have to think. I mean, they sat their players down basically. They could have they could have and easily may have been a better matchup against Cleveland in a sense. We definitely could look at it that way. But for the
Well,
Knicks, let's look at it like this. If the
I don't
Knicks are
think
gonna
so.
I hope the
The Knicks
Knicks
are a slower team.
I hope some of the little trash
They're a
talk.
slower running gun team that doesn't shoot the ball as well.
Here's the difference with the Hawks also. They don't have anybody bigger than 6'10". They don't have any 7-foot giants like the Knicks have with Mitch and Cat. So that could play to our advantage too. To some degree, that will play to the Knicks' advantage a bit. I think it will. But you're going to have to prove if you're the Knicks you can take away that three ball shooting of theirs, and they have multiple players that can shoot from downtown, including the main three that I've mentioned earlier in McCollum, Walker, and Johnson. You're going to have to also take a Kungwu out of the offense, and that's going to be very tricky to do. So Atlanta is going to come at you in all different directions if you're the Knicks, and you're going to have to really approach that. And are you willing to be flexible with what Atlanta is going to do? Because you're going to have to be flexible if you're going to beat Atlanta to some degree. You're going to have to be. So I know everybody wants to see if the Knicks were to get out of this. More than likely, the Celtics await in round two. And everybody, of course, wants to see the Knicks Celtics. I'm sure the whole world wants to see a rematch with Boston back at full power. And who wouldn't? Now, Boston's going to have a challenge in front of them as the 2 seed. They're going to play the winner of, they're going to play the whoever will be the 7 seed out of the play-in game. Can you imagine right now? It could be the Sixers or it could be the Magic. And that's not a gimme.
The Sixers are not a gimme.
No, definitely not a
They're
gimme if it's
fully
the
healthy
Sixers.
right now.
Definitely not. Embiid's coming back from appendicitis, and Maxi's back, and obviously Maxi's been back. So, the Sixers, but we've talked this game with the Sixers forever. We've talked this game with the Sixers. Oh, they have the team that could go to the finals. You've said it a million times. And they never get past the first or second round.
But they finally got that fourth guy that you could actually rely on if one of the big three get hurt.
If you're saying Paul George is the guy, or are you talking about Edgecombe?
I'm talking about Edgecombe.
Well, Edgecomb's a rookie. I mean, we don't know how he's going to adjust to his first playoff appearance. This is his first playoff.
We don't know, but if the regular season is any indication, he's done well.
Of course, no, I'm not doubting Edgecomb's ability. The playoffs are the real big stage where you really see are you cut out for playing in big games of this magnitude. All the other players have proven they can play on this stage. Edgecombe hasn't proven that yet. All right. Right now, the Hornets are playing the Heat right now. LaMelo Ball hasn't been in a playoff type atmosphere until today. Neither has Con Kneppel. Neither has Brandon Miller.
Okay. And how are they doing right about now?
Well, let's take a quick look. Game was at halftime after all. So, last I had seen, it was a deadlock 42-all tie. And the third quarter has just we're about 5 minutes into the third quarter. It's a neck-and-neck game. The Heat are up 61-60. It is close to the wire. Honestly, I don't know who's winning this game. At this point, I would have said the Hornets were clearly the team with the advantage here because they're the home court team, and the Hornets are clearly the team with a more up-tempo offense than that of the Heat. But I never count the Heat out either. This is Eric Spoelstra we're talking about here. Okay? This is Bam and Tyler Hero. These guys have been here forever. These guys have been here for years. They know how to win games like this. The Heat have been an underdog for how many years, and they seem to kind of surprise people. So I wouldn't look past the Heat. I don't care what their record is. If they get out of this game and beat the Hornets, the Heat are going to be a problem. Either team is going to be a problem for the Pistons, whichever one it is.
Well, I would say the Hornets are definitely more of a problem.
Oh, that's a big problem because the Hornets have beaten the Pistons. That's a big deal. Hornets have beaten them. They've shown they can beat them.
And here's the thing: LaMelo Ball is better than Cade Cunningham.
Well,
so if you could match Detroit star for star, I mean, I know the rest of the pieces of the Hornets are not as developed as the rest of the roster of the Pistons, but does that really matter when your star is just better?
Well, we're going to find out by tonight. Obviously, being that this is the 9 versus the 10 seed, the loser of this plan is eliminated. Okay, 9
And
versus
the
10, the
winner
loser's
goes
out,
on to
and
play for the eighth seed.
you
And
play
this
the
is
loser
why I
7 versus
say
8.
this, and this is why I say this is not the playoffs.
I don't know. We had this argument at the top of the hour before we even kicked off the show.
This is
I
not
still
the
feel this is
playoffs,
like a playoff
John.
game to me. You don't feel it is,
Like
but I
a,
feel it is.
but you're playing to get in. That's why they call it the play-in tournament.
Why are you
This
sounding
is
like
the
old Patrick
tournament
with
to
SpongeBob
make
when he
the
said, I'd hate you?
playoff.
You're sounding like Patrick on SpongeBob, like, yeah, well, I'd hate you even if I didn't hate you.
You're the one who is full of the hatred. I'm just telling you what the facts are, and
Did you
you're
hear that?
getting
You
angry.
saw the hatred. You saw like the amount of hate I got when I even said Con Kneppel is surpassing what Curry ever did, and I got Chris with his and listen, I love you, Chris. I know you love Curry, and I respect Curry. I've said it. I'm going to briefly touch on this. I'm not going to go deeper into this. Okay, I respect Curry. Love what he's brought to the game. He's an institution in the NBA. Okay, but what Con Kneppel has already done in year one, he's already made more threes in his rookie year than even Curry did. And he could be on pace at his young age to maybe even eventually surpassing Curry all time for threes made and points. I will not be surprised. Remember now, Del Curry's been calling the games for the Hornets. Curry's papa's been watching every minute of Con Kneppel this entire year. And if you're getting a seal of approval from Del Curry, then you know Con Kneppel's legit and he's going to be something and he's going to be a very, very big nightmare for opponents as he gets even better than right now,
Now,
just year one.
I'm going to settle this argument
Yep.
because I saw it and I didn't even address it
Mm-hmm.
in the group chat because you two are ridiculous.
I'm defending both players' honor, but I'm telling Chris the fact of the matter. Con Kneppel's
The
right up there with Curry. He's doing basically all the type of records he's setting is what Curry did
no,
for the most part.
as a 3-point shooter, and congrats, he's not Steph Curry. Steph Curry
Well,
did a lot more than just shoot threes. That's why Steph Curry is Steph Curry. It's not just the 3-point shooting. Um, if you really want to compare him to a human, let's throw him the actual comparison that actually makes sense.
yeah.
If
Well,
Melo and Knuckle are a duo,
yes.
then Knuckle is Melo's Clay.
Well, Kneppel's technically not
Knuckle
even
is
a point
Clay.
guard. Kneppel's not even a point guard. He's a small forward.
Knuckle is Clay.
Somewhat. Yeah, somewhat.
That's Melo's Clay. There you go.
Well,
Okay?
LaMelo's obviously, LaMelo's basically one of the if he's not, but I'm gonna go with the he's a
He
guard.
is LaMelo's a point, and I would say
Point
he
guard, yeah.
is the closest thing to John Stockton that I've seen in the modern era.
Well, with how he ball handles and how he can knock down a big
And
shot.
except he's 6'7",
Yes, he is.
6'7".
Yeah, well, he has a
Then
size advantage to his advantage, of course.
he's John Stockton with five more inches in height.
Okay, it's fair. It's fair.
There you go. Kids, if you ever wondered why everybody said John Stockton was so good, watch LaMelo Ball. And just minus about 5 inches in height and add about
How about 6? John Stockton was 6'1". John Stockton was
okay,
6'1". He wasn't.
minus 6 inches in height and add about 1,000 grams of anger
Okay.
and,
Well,
and mean spirit.
Well,
and he
LaMelo
got
Ball
John
can take
Stockton.
well, LaMelo Ball can knock down some ridiculous 30-foot shots if you give him the space. That's something Stockton on love Stockton, but he didn't even do nearly what LaMelo Ball does. Okay.
No, not in
Unfair.
terms of the shooting, no.
No.
But
No.
in terms of distributing the ball in defense, yeah, LaMelo got
Of course. Well, the Hornets have all
that
those
that
things.
that.
The Hornets have those things working for them. And if they can beat the Heat tonight, all the power to them. And definitely, if they can get out of the play-in, they're going to be a team nobody wants to face with their fast tempo and high octane offense. That's a most certainty.
And like I said, love Cade Cunningham to death, man, but he's no LaMelo Ball.
Fair,
I'm sorry, he's not.
definitely. So now, as we look through the rest of the playoff games that we're going to have, obviously, ones that are not going to be they're not going to involve playing games. These are the top six seeds. We've already talked about the Knicks and the Hawks. So the Raptors are going to be the ones playing Cleveland, 5 versus 4.
That's gonna be a
I
fun
don't know how I
matchup.
feel about this. I'm not sure how I
That's
feel
gonna
about
be
this.
fun.
I'm
That's
sure
gonna
it'll
be
be a
fun.
great series. No doubt it's going to be an exciting
That's
series.
going seven, and I'll tell you why.
Mm,
Because neither team can defend,
mm.
and both teams put the ball in the hoop
So we're
at
going to see about 120.
ridiculous.
So we're going to see roller coaster matchups here. We're going to see basically like
Oh
a
yeah,
120 plus points per night. Maybe the other team winning by like 5 points margin, right? Is that what we're
you're
going to
gonna
see out
see
of this?
like scores like 131 to 127 every single game. This is gonna be like Scotty Barnes versus James Harden. The scoring, let the scoring begin.
Well, Donovan Mitchell
Uh,
against Brandon Ingram. I guess that's fair. I guess that's definitely
yeah,
fair. But I think Cleveland has, but unfortunately, Cleveland has a lot more of depth in their lineup. I'm not saying Toronto can't match
no,
them,
they
but
don't. The X factor is Toronto's depth. If you look at Quickly, look at Barrett, look at the other people that Toronto has.
Mamu Kalashvili. I know he's a good 3-point shooter. He's decent. Broyles, okay. Curry Boy, yeah, what was his name? Boyles, that's the kid.
The
Uh,
rookie,
yeah, the
yeah, he
rookie. Yeah.
actually he's actually one tough defender. Like
Okay.
he's done very well all year long,
Okay.
defending, rebounding. He actually found a little bit of a 3-point stroke this year, even though he couldn't hit. He didn't. I don't think he even hit one all his
They
college
have some
career.
things going. They do have some things going for them. I'm not saying they don't.
Everything broke right for Toronto this year. Everything that had. I remember how I told you at the beginning of the year, if everything breaks right for the Raptors, they will be a playoff team and they not a play-in team.
Well, remember, they had that good start.
Congratulations.
They started off strong. Let's not forget that. They did tail off during the year, but they started off hot, and that was really a
Well,
key
they had
difference
it
to why they were here.
very easy. They had a very easy schedule to start the year. But do
Yeah.
you know what? Credit to them. They did what they had to do. If you're a playoff team, what do? If you get an easy portion to the schedule, you beat the ever living piss out of it until it cries. And that's
Mm.
what Toronto did.
Well, but yeah, the X factor for certain, if you're Cleveland, is if James Harden is going to actually show up in these playoffs and not disappear like he tends to.
And here's the other thing. Got Toronto got to avoid the Knicks. And I believe Toronto has smacked around Cleveland all season long, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let's look at their numbers. Why don't we take a quick look at the numbers and just kind of see what we have now? Overall season series, if we look at the Raptors and Cavaliers, I know we're probably going to believe it's been even most of the year and all that, but
No,
as
I
we
don't
look,
think so.
I mean,
I think Toronto has been very good against Cleveland this year.
let's take a look at that. And as we take and but obviously what happens then? All right, here we go. The
Yep. Pull
Raptors
it up.
swept the season series. There we are. They swept it.
Told you.
112,
I didn't want to
101
just
on
outright
October.
say, I didn't want to just outright say it in case I was
Okay.
wrong, but I'm
And yeah,
pretty sure.
these games were all by double digits. 112,
Yeah,
112, 101, 126, 113, 110, 99.
yeah.
So,
I'm
okay.
giving Cleveland credit that it's going to be a series, but I think they're out in round one. I think
Well, the
Toronto moves
Raptors are a
on.
younger team. That does work to their advantage. They are younger and they do have a little more pep in their step. something
And
that I'm not
RJ
sure the Cavaliers have.
and and they're bigger, they're stronger. But here's the difference, though. How many of those games happened since the Harden trade?
Okay.
The trade that
Well,
literally saved the Cavaliers'
well, all these
season, if
games,
you ask me.
all these games took place Halloween and right around Thanksgiving. Obviously, the
Mm.
trade. So this is really more before Harden got here. So
So here is where I say now we're off to the races because Harden doesn't add the defense.
yeah, Harden didn't
Harden
come until
gave
February.
the
Yeah, Harden was not here
Harden
till
gave
February.
the
Yeah,
Cavaliers the scoring punch that they did not have all season
yeah,
long. Now they've got the scoring punch. They said, "Eff it, we suck on defense. Let's double down."
yeah.
And
Okay.
now Harden is giving them that 20 points a game, that 25 a game that they didn't have before. And the Raptors were beating the Cavs by what? 15 points.
Well, yeah, they were basically about 12, 13-ish a game. It's about roughly what we have from those three. Okay, but that was before Harden
So
got here. The Cavs were not as good back with their team
Harden
back then.
adds, yeah. So if you take away Garland and add Harden, you're adding about what, 7 to 8 points a game?
At least,
About.
yeah, maybe about.
So
To be
now you
fair,
go from so now you're going from so now you're going from on average, if you were to go and like add Harden's point totals to instead of like Garland's, let's just say, and then Garland was hurt a bunch, so let's factor that in. Wins above replacement. Let's say replacement point guard gets like 15 points. Harden's going to get you about 25. There's
well,
10 points right
yeah.
there.
Here's the
So those
improvement. If you want,
become
I can
two
read
to
it right here
five
for you.
point.
I can read it right here for you. Since the acquisition, Harden alone averaged 18 to 20 and a half points per game in the 14-26 game in the portion of games he was a Cav. So he upped his total in points a little bit, and that definitely helped Cleveland as far as scoring wise, no doubt about it.
And his assists went up as well because him and
Yeah.
Mitchell have been
Yes.
going back and forth.
And
So
we
Harden
talked
could
about
be a
it
point.
throughout. We
Mitchell
talked
could
about
be a
this all
point.
year.
Yeah,
We talked about this all year that Harden takes a lot of pressure off Donovan Mitchell. Okay?
at least since the trade. Yeah,
It's going to be a nightmare for a lot of teams to
and
defend against one of them, let
and
alone
it's
both.
crazy, because usually it takes Harden so long to mesh into a team,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well,
Not
having
this time.
Kenny Atkinson made the transition very seamless because he's worked with Harden. He knows
Yep,
Harden's game. That's what
yep.
helps. Familiarity plays a big role. So we'll see. We believe this could go seven. We'll give our predictions on how many games these series will all go in a moment. We've talked about the East. Now I'd like to go over to the West because we
Yes,
have some
let's
games in
do
the
it.
West that are going to be interesting as well. Obviously, the first of the play-in games for the West will be later today. The Suns and the Blazers. The Blazers got back Shaden Sharp, by the way. They got another scoring piece back in their lineup that was missing most of the year. So now you put him in there with Scoot Henderson, with Avdia, with Holiday. The Blazers have a little more punch now than they didn't have before. Obviously, the Suns have Brooks back. You got Booker. You got Grayson Allen.
You know
You got good depth
the
there if you're the Suns. And credit to
I
them for
don't
what they've done.
I don't see the Blazers beating the Suns. I just don't. I'm
Well,
sorry.
you are going to be playing on you are going to be playing on, I believe, on the Suns turf. So
Yeah,
it's going to be tough. That's not
and
going to be easy.
the Suns got healthy at the right time. I think one of their players is going to be out. A couple of them are just like,
Yeah, but having Dylan Brooks back's big. Having Dylan Brooks
yeah.
back in the lineup is a big deal.
And he's the guy that gives you your edge. And
And
he's also,
Having Jalen Green there, having Booker. The Suns have a good matchup here at the Blazers. I think just like the Hornets game, it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a fight. It's going to be tough to pick a winner out of that one, to be very honest with you.
I agree, but I know who I'm going with. It's going to be the Suns. It has to be.
Well,
But,
luckily,
you
this
know,
is not one of the games that the loser goes home. This is 7 and 8, so the loser at least gets one more chance to try to be the 8 seed if you don't win the 7 and 8 game.
Well, is the winner? Does the winner really win? Because they get to go against Wembenyama.
Well, I mean, the Suns maybe could give them a little fight. I think the Suns can give the Spurs a little fight.
A lot of a fight, actually. But
Okay.
you never know.
Yeah. I'm more worried about if you have to play the Thunder. I'm more worried about the 8 seed having to take on OKC, which I don't think is going to be a friendly fight for that team. 9 and 10, by the way, is the
The
Clippers
Suns
and
match up better. The
the
Suns
Clippers and
match up
Warriors.
better against the damn Thunder anyway. Truthfully.
Well, then for your sake, you better hope the Suns lose to the Blazers.
Well,
For your
I
sake,
think the
that's what you
Clippers.
want to have happen, I guess, if you're looking at it like that.
Whatever team loses is gonna run into a buzzsaw.
Yeah. Well, I could say
Because
the
I don't want
same.
to see the Clippers. Or I don't want to see the Clippers or Golden State.
I could say the same for Clippers and Golden State have to play each other 9 and 10 in their playing game. The loser goes home. Uh, you would think the Clippers have the clear advantage over Golden State, even with Curry back in
No,
the lineup.
no, I wouldn't say Curry is better than every player on the floor.
Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi Leonard's pretty right up there with
Yeah,
Curry, NBA champion, Kawhi Leonard we're talking about here.
not as many times as Curry.
Okay, he's got it once. Curry's won about 3, 4 times. Okay, great. Okay. Now, I'll give Curry credit. Like Kawhi, Curry was able to win a ring by himself without having a sidekick on his roster, if you will. Okay? Curry and Kawhi led their teams to an NBA title in the day. Great.
Yep.
Cool. Love that.
They're gonna have to do it again.
Well, it's definitely going to be that. There's no doubt about it. That's exactly
Well,
what you're going to have right in front of you here.
No, that's not true. Kawhi's got
You had
Darius Garland
Siakam.
with
Yeah,
him.
you had Siakam back in then, but was Siakam really that player that you thought he was going to be back then before he went to Indiana?
Back then he was freaking Superman.
Okay, and you had OG, Anunoby.
There you go.
But then OG was young. Siakam was young. Kawhi had been here already he was already established. He
Yes,
basically was, this is my
and
team, not
Kyle
yours.
Lowry was there. And Kyle
Yeah.
Lowry was there. That was
Yes.
Kyle Lowry's team too.
Yeah, but Kawhi was
Was at
really
the
the
tail
engine
end.
of
That was
the engine of the whole team. He was the engine.
Yeah, that was the tail end of Kyle Lowry's
Yeah, I mean, he was on the tail end of his career. Exactly. That's why I'm saying that was Kawhi's team with the Raptors back in 2019. That was his team back then.
yeah,
that's fine.
But now you're looking at Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry
Against
and
Curry, yes.
these are really the last years of their careers.
Well, for both, for Curry and Draymond Green, absolutely, yes.
Well, same thing with Kawhi. He's been there longer than them.
Curry is 37. Kawhi, remember when Kawhi got here, Kawhi still has some time. Well, he's 34. Kawhi's got at least a few more years left in him more than Curry does.
I mean, yeah, but most players retire when they're like 35, 36 years old. So,
well, some players have defied it. LeBron's defied father time. LeBron's defied it.
LeBron is a mutant athlete.
A mutant.
I mean,
and you don't think Curry's a mutant? He's 38. Okay, Curry's 38. 38. He's still playing.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think people are going to have to start putting Steph into the greatest of all time conversations. Like if LeBron's in there, if Steph plays beyond his 40th birthday and starts playing into his early 40s like LeBron has.
Oh, I think he will. LeBron has led by that example. LeBron led by that example to inspire players that could come into the league like him and have longevity. Curry obviously took that to heart, and Curry works hard as anybody in the NBA to still be at the top of his game.
Well, here's the thing: if more players do it, then that's gonna
Durant's doing it. Kevin Durant's doing it.
Yeah, nobody's talking about it because how many titles has Durant won on his own?
Yeah, other than the one he got with Golden State, none.
Exactly.
That's a shame. Can you imagine if he could have gone back to OKC?
If he takes Houston to a title, There it is. There it is. There's the title that he brought the kids to, that he
Nope.
shepherded and got them there on his
Nope.
own. There it
Speaking of
is.
which, let's talk about that particular game.
I
Lakers
agree. Let's
Rockets.
go.
That's it. Lakers Rockets.
Uh,
Let's go right into this.
and here it is. LeBron James and oh God, poor old man. You got to
Yeah.
do it all on your own one more time.
Well, good news. Luka Doncic returned from Spain before their playoff series, but according to JJ Redick, he and Reeves are out indefinitely. They're not
Oh,
they're
so
not playing in this series.
Luca went to Spain. You see, he should have went to Germany.
Okay, well,
You
he
went to the
wanted to have
wrong
a better
country.
idea of his treatment. A grade 2
With
hamstring strain is no joke.
CMC went to Germany, and his legs were magically healed. You see, you went to the wrong country,
Yeah.
Luca.
Well,
You
unfortunately,
should have had CMC take you to his boys in Germany. You'd have been healed.
unfortunately, he and Reeves both suffered grade 2 injuries. For Doncic, it was a hamstring. For Reeves, an oblique.
Well,
I don't know what's worse, a hamstring or an oblique. Which is worse?
what's worse is it's going to be Bronny James out there. That's what's worse.
Well, he's probably going to have to play some minutes out there. There's no doubt about it. Bronny's going to have a role.
I have a question. Is he not the starter at this point?
He's not going to start. I don't see that. You got what, Vanderbilt? Maybe you might start him. You got let me go through some of these kids. Oh yeah, you have Laravia. He probably will start. Hachimura.
Hachimura, but is Hachimura a point?
No, I mean he can shoot some down. He can shoot some threes. You know, he's a big guy.
Point guard?
No, he's not.
Who's the point guard?
Yeah, well, that's going to be the
point guard is going to be Bronny.
Well, you also have You have Marcus Smart. Don't forget, you have Marcus Smart.
That's true. Yes.
You got Luke Kent. You got Luke Kennard. Don't forget about him.
Yes, that is true. But Bronny James will be coming off the bench.
Yeah, but I don't know how many minutes he plays a night. That I don't know.
He's gonna have to be. You're gonna have to give him 10 minutes.
Well,
you
Bronny,
have to give him 10 minutes.
I hope LeBron is giving Bronny the most intensive playoff training you're going to have in your young kid's life. And I hope the minute Bronny complains, Papa, my knees hurt, get up. The minute Bronny complains, oh, my arm hurt, get up.
Get the fuck up, you little bastard.
I really hope that's not how LeBron in real life would be. I mean, look, LeBron is good at his kids. I know he is.
I'm sure. No, you saw that picture of him holding his son in 2004. Now yes. They're going to be playing together in the playoffs. And you know what? Bronny, you better not fuck it up.
Well, we're going to find out. Look, sometimes the playoffs bring out the best in a player, not always the worst.
I mean, look, here's all I'm going to say. Those two have been training in the backyard forever. I am sure there is shit that they have come up with. Son, if we ever end up in a game together in the playoffs, this is what we gonna do.
Yep. Well,
you better pull out all of that. And by the way, if Bronny has to be on the floor, it should never be without his father.
Well, of course, no. You obviously want him and his dad out there at the same time, of course.
No. But like, I don't know why, but like, I think because I've heard people say they're like, oh, let's see Bronny out there by himself without his dad. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, you also have to see if he can handle adversity.
Never be out there without his father.
Eventually, you have to stop coddling him. I mean, look what happened. What happened when Doc Rivers was coaching and, his son Austin Rivers was there, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how weird that looks?
I get it, but
your head coach is, your head coaching your own son. And look, I mean, the Knicks have that with Rick and Jalen Brunson. Okay, fine. But Rick's an assistant coach. He's not the head coach. Okay?
No, but here's the difference, though. If Bronny screws up, LeBron can go yell at him.
All right.
Are you the regular team?
And how do you know JJ Redick won't get in the way and say, I'm sorry, LeBron, we're not having daddy son thing. I'm head coach. Bronny's not playing good. I'm sitting his ass down because he's sinking
LeBron,
the team.
then LeBron will fire JJ. JJ will have to walk out of the building, and LeBron will assume his position as head coach.
We haven't had a player coach. Have we ever even had an NBA player slash coach on the same team at the same time? I'm actually curious about that now because
Have we
that's
ever had a
actually
player?
happened.
I have a question. Have we ever had a player fire the head coach mid-series?
Uh, no, we have not seen that. No.
That might happen in this playoff series.
Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. The Celtics had a player coach. The NBA's done it a few times, going back to the 1950s or the 70s. But yeah, the most famous one was Bill Russell. Yeah, Bill Russell was a player coach for the Celtics from 66 to 1969. But the last player to serve as a coach back in the day was Dave Cowens. All right.
The last player to ever do it was the great Nancy Lieberman Klein of
Yeah,
the
on the in the W in the
on
in
the
the
WNBA.
WNBA. Yeah, in the
Yep.
WNBA, that's different. We're talking about the NBA, not the WNBA. We're talking about the NBA.
No, but like it happened in the 90s, but not in
Okay.
this century.
Yeah,
It's
no,
never
not in this
happened in this
century.
century.
And we're
It
probably going to
might.
never see it. We're probably going to never see
No,
that again.
it might in the first round series of this playoffs.
If it's
If
LeBron,
JJ
maybe I could
Redick
see that
fucks this
realistic.
up,
If it's LeBron, maybe I could realistically see
if
that. But
JJ Redick fucks this up in the first two games, you might see LeBron kick him out of the building.
I don't. As many years as LeBron's been here, he doesn't have that kind of pull. That's the owner decides, do I fire my
Whoever's
coach or not? The owner makes that decision. Not,
whoever's responsible for my son Bronny's emotional scarring.
aha. Well, anyway, but this is going to be the interesting
Call
matchup.
Spence, get him over here. We need to run the backyard plays.
Well,
Sign him off the street.
Well, this is what the Lakers are going to have in front of them playing the Rockets. This is not going to be an easy matchup. The Rockets have some young kids on their team. Obviously, Kevin Durant leading the way. But, Jabari Smith Jr. has looked pretty good. He's really stepped up nicely.
Yep.
Alperen Şengün, he's really developed into a nice secondary scorer with Durant, along with
The
Reed
Rockets
Shepard.
are crazy good. The Rockets are crazy
They have
good.
a lot of depth.
But here's the thing. Winning, I was afraid of them being a round one out because of course, Reeves and Luca and LeBron all being on the same team with a bunch of developing pieces around them. I thought the Lakers were actually going to be able to make a pretty deep run.
Ime
They
Udoka
were
knows a
my
thing or two
dog.
about taking young players and developing them the right way. Ime Udoka knows how to make that work. He's done it before.
Yeah, I know, but what I was saying is, I was afraid because I thought the Lakers were doing a good job developing their youngsters, but they also had the services of Reeves, LeBron, and Luca, and finally LeBron realized he had to be the third wheel in this
Yeah.
in this marriage here.
But then the double whammy with the
And
injuries happened, unfortunately.
yep,
Reeves and Doncic got
and
hurt.
yep. But here's the thing: if they could get past this round one series, they'll be back.
Well, how close to 100% are they going to be if they do come back? I mean, again, grade 2
It'll
injuries.
be
These guys
enough.
both suffered injuries late in like April. This is
It'll be enough. It'll be enough.
If they don't, this
Because
could be an utter blowout at the hands of the Rockets. This could be
oh
an utter
yeah,
blowout and maybe end in 5 games. That's what I'm concerned
I,
about.
that's what I'm thinking too. Because I don't know how, but then again, you know, I'm gonna say one very important thing.
But
For a long time, I've never given any credence to the LeBron James could ever be considered better than Michael Jordan conversation. Ever.
even though he's won multiple titles, he hasn't won as many as Jordan, obviously. I don't think
And
Jordan's record
obviously,
will ever be
and well,
broken.
Jordan has lost more. Well, not Jordan's record. Bill Russell's won more championships than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but
But
like right up there. But like I'm saying, I don't think LeBron will ever surpass Russell and Jordan. That's
there'll
never going to
never
happen.
be three peats. There'll never be two three peats. That'll never be. But then again, no player will ever go to as many NBA finals in a row as LeBron James ever again. I'm gonna say that straight up.
I mean,
But
maybe OKC and SGA might have something to say about that.
uh, if LeBron does what I'm about to say, here's the thing: if LeBron James can hold out, win this first round series, and get the Lakers to the finals this year while holding out, waiting for Luka, waiting for Austin Reeves, and then win the NBA title,
Okay.
you know what?
He could be
You can
established
act.
himself as the best of all time, in your opinion? You think he'll establish himself in that category?
No, but I definitely, but I'll move him from 3 to 2, put him above Kobe, and actually start to have that debate with Jordan.
That says a lot. That's saying a lot. Well, we'll see what happens.
Because
The
then I
Lake.
could legitimately have it. Because
Well,
then I could give you a moment where LeBron James had to literally drag his team kicking and screaming to a title like Jordan had to.
mhm. Well, let's see where that goes. Now we go to our final game in the West. I think we you know which one this is. Timberwolves Nuggets.
Well,
Anthony Edwards has been pretty banged up. He's come back. He's here, but he obviously has he been playing quite like the Anthony Edwards we expect.
no.
He hasn't.
They brought him
And
back
have
too
Julius
soon.
Randle and Dante DiVincenzo have they been able to kind of carry the team without him to some degree?
Randall's done his job. I mean, what the hell else can
Yeah.
Randall do besides go out there and score 25 points a game and get almost 10
I
rebounds a
know he did
game?
it with the Knicks. I know he did it with the Knicks and he resurrected the Knicks back in the day. I get that. And I always will remember
What
Julius
the
Randle for
hell
that.
else can Randall do besides what he's doing?
I feel like with the Timberwolves, he has more talent around him than he did with the Knicks. Maybe I'm wrong.
But what else can he do besides what he's doing? He's going out there and he's putting up the points and the rebounds. Gobert ain't doing it.
Naz Reid
Actually, if
ain't
you really
doing
want
it.
to
Is
look,
Naz Reid doing
yeah,
it? No. Is Jaden
no,
McDaniels doing it?
no. Everybody else around him sucks. Literally. And the guy who I'm most disappointed in is Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. That's what upsets me because I think with the Timberwolves, he has more of the talent around him than he did with the Knicks, and they're not playing up to their expectations. They're not playing up to the level I think we expect them to be playing.
They're watching Julius Randle play ISO ball.
Hmm. And here
That's
we were
what
blaming
they're
the Knicks
doing.
for doing that,
Watch the tape.
and here we blame the Knicks
Watch
for
the
doing
tape.
that all the time with Brunson.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, look at really talented guy. But you see, here's the thing. Here's why it worked in Minnesota when Anthony Edwards was killing it. It's because you had two people in Edwards and Randall that didn't just sit back and watch the other one work.
Hmm. I mean, it's really
Towns
amazing when you think
is
of it
sitting
like
there
that.
like, and that's the problem I have with him. If you put him at the 4, he knows what the crap he's doing.
Hmm.
He knows where he's supposed to move, what spot he's supposed to be in. Play Towns at the 4 and don't ever put him at the 5 again.
Hmm. Definitely
I'm
fair.
sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit. Sign a fucking center that can play every game.
Well, I have a question for you. Is it going to be enough if you're the Timberwolves to get past the Nuggets? I just don't think so. The Nuggets just have way too much that they got all their pieces back now, and the Nuggets are here with a mission. They're on a
Well, yeah,
mission.
they want a title, and they, you know what they want? They want a rematch with OKC,
Yeah,
and OKC, in my opinion, is weaker than Denver was
they're the only team.
last
Denver's
year,
like one of the only couple of teams that can go head to head with OKC, other than San Antonio.
and the Knicks.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
my
talking in the
opinion,
West. I'm
the
talking in the
only
West
team.
only. I'm talking in the
No, but
West only.
and in the East, actually, the East has tons of teams that can go against OKC, in my opinion. I
Hmm.
think one through 5 could face OKC down,
Hmm. Fair.
specifically because of the way that they're built. The team that would give a lot of teams in the East trouble is the Spurs. Another team in the West that would give a lot of teams in the East trouble, like the Spurs, the Nuggets, and the Rockets would give every team in the East fits. I think the Thunder, they've been battling injuries all year long, on and off.
And they still win, and they still keep winning because they have enough depth.
True, true, but are they going to be able to run rotations like they ran last year? They're not as healthy as they were last year.
It's a
They're
good
not as
question.
deep as they were last year.
Hmm.
Because
Well,
you know what? It looks good. It looks good on a game by game basis in the regular season, but when you're playing the same team for 7 games, how does it look then?
yes. Well,
And that's where the Knicks' depth is going to get tested. That's where this new coaching philosophy that we brought in is going to get tested. That's where is Tatum really back? Is he really healthy? That's where that's going to get
mhm.
tested.
Yep,
Is Detroit really the top team? That's where that's going to get
that's going to be
tested.
key. Yeah.
Because to me, I think Detroit is the most fraudulent number one seed I've ever seen in the Eastern Conference in a long time. They're very lucky. Boston didn't
Well,
catch them
a lot of
the
people
end of the
claim the Knicks
season.
were the most fraudulent three seed. Everybody claimed,
I, d-
people claim the
I
Knicks are the
do.
frauds.
I definitely do. I definitely do, and I still stand by that. But I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm going to root for them to win, and I still believe they can.
Yeah,
I say they're fraudulent because they should be the one seed. There's no excuse as to why they're not.
because they threw some games that
And
they threw a few games away this year that they shouldn't have. They threw away about
and
5, 6 games this year.
and by the way, at least 4 of them were against the 2 teams ahead of them in the standings.
Well, the Pistons they played like crap against the Pistons all year. Yeah, the Celtics, the Spurs, those couple of games they let get away, and then the Thunder game was close. I mean, the Magic they struggled with early in the year. They had those 2 bad losses to the Magic. I haven't forgotten those games.
I watched one of the Knicks Pistons games, and there were points in those games where the
Yep.
Knicks actually could have put the Pistons away, gone on a run, and been up by 20 themselves,
Yes.
and then just hung on the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know what? They just didn't. They just missed the critical shot,
Mm.
and then that sent Detroit on a run, and then bang. Or the Knicks would start to maybe chip back and chip back. Then they miss that. Then Bridges takes a stupid mid-range jumper with 3 people on him.
Mm. Well,
Generally, it's always with Bridges making a stupid decision.
yeah. Well, as we get before we dive into our predictions for how many games each series will go, a little update on our play-in game. We're down to 5 minutes. The Heat are up 5. Now make it 3.
Ooh, okay.
But even if the Heat do somehow win, they did have to pay a little. They did have to pay a little price with an injury.
What?
Bam Adebayo got hurt, a back
Uh-oh.
injury. He barely played about 11 minutes before he got hurt.
That's not good.
Yeah, if Miami were to get by the Hornets, and there's still time. I'm not saying the Hornets can't come
But
back.
Bam out there allows Miami to play faster than they usually would play with him on the court, which allows them to keep up with the Hornets and score with them. So in
Yeah.
a way, Bam being out there kind of
Yep. But yeah, back injury
and by
is
the
not
way,
good.
Bam that happening with Bam, he's been on and off with the back. So this is a continuation of the back soreness that he's had. So
Yeah.
not good.
Basically, a little idea. It wasn't just only the back that got hurt. There was a play, and this is what injured Bam. He landed on his tailbone, and on top of that, also Lamelo Ball grabbed Bam's ankle on the way down. So imagine you're basically, you're coming after a rebound. You had a shot was blocked, and you have to jump in the air, right? And now imagine you're coming down, and someone just pulls your ankle out from under you, and now what would have been a straight fall, now you have to fall on your back. Now you take a fall on the back.
Well, I know that's a dirty play,
Well, people will probably say
but
it. I'm sure people will say that.
but but that's why they teach you when you're rebounding to when you jump, put your knees up.
By the way, Just so you know, it was not called as a foul. Ball didn't even get fouled. Spoelstra was furious, demanded a replay, a flagrant. It wasn't eligible to be reviewed, said the referee.
Yeah, sleight of hand.
It wasn't immediately because it wasn't immediately stopped, and there was a change of possession. So all
Yep.
those little intricate details have to play into it.
It
But
ain't
yeah,
cons-
listen, if that was my star player getting hurt, I'd be furious too. Okay, I'd be
yeah,
very pissed.
it ain't considered a foul unless they catch you.
Yeah. Well, unless the Heat, and I really mean it, if the Heat manage to even survive and win this game, you know, we'll see what happens. But
If Bam is seriously hurt, you know LaMelo's going to get fined,
LaMelo,
right?
well, the fact that Bam couldn't even return to the game tells you it was a bad injury. It was not. It was on the
Yeah,
tailbone. It's on the
he's
tailbone.
not
I
going to.
mean,
Yeah, yeah, he could have a fractured. Yeah, not good.
I could tell you, I injured my tailbone once
Herniated.
when I sat on a car
Yeah.
seatbelt. I
Ooh,
sat on a car seatbelt. My tailbone was hurting. I felt like I couldn't even move. I was. It was painful for most of that day to even do anything. I assure you, I know. I know how it feels.
yes. Now
All right.
imagine you're almost 300 pounds falling at whatever rate of speed from jumping up and catching a rebound in a basketball game, and all of a sudden your fall is not the fall that you were expecting.
Yep. All right. So
Yeah.
so now with that said, we'll we'll see what happens at the end of this game. The winner obviously will be playing the loser of 7 versus 8. The 9 or 10 that loses is out. So that's what's at stake here. So now looking at the rest of the NBA games from 1 through 6 in both the East and the West, we've given you our take, given you a little idea of how each team plays, who ends up winning, and in how many games. We started with the Knicks. Let's begin with them. Knicks and Hawks. Who you have?
Knicks in 6 because Atlanta is a very fast team. They're a running
Yes.
gun team. They're going to outscore the Knicks in a couple of these games, but um, the Knicks are going to have to pull back from their experience and their understanding of how playoff series are played.
Mm.
And I think they're going to.
Well, the good news is
I
yes.
think they
All the guys here have been
understand.
here. They know what it's like. Brunson, Hart, Mitch, they've been here. They
Yeah,
understand the
Knicks in
playoffs
6.
and how you have to play.
Knicks in 6. I think Atlanta's going to put up a good fight. I think they're going to put out a good showing. I think they are this year's Detroit. They went on a great run to get
Yes.
here, but unfortunately for them,
I think the
it's
Knicks will get
by
revenge on
time.
this too. I think the Knicks will avenge what happened about 5 years ago. I could see the Knicks winning this in 5. I'm not so sure if this will go 6. I think 5. All the games will be close. It will come down to close possessions. It'll come down to about a 2 to 3 possession game. Maybe like 7 to 9 points roughly.
Atlanta's two wins are going to be blowouts, but the other games are going to be close games. If they're close
Yeah.
games, the Knicks are going to win. But
The
here's the
key is you
thing.
have to win on your home court if you're the Knicks. You cannot lose on the Garden Court,
That's right.
or it's going to change this whole series. So definitely
I don't
keep an
need
eye
to
out for
see.
that.
I don't want to see the Road Warrior Knicks. I
No,
really. Although if that ends up happening and they do win all their games on the opposing team's floor,
that's not
you know,
really something I kind of want to have to see if I'm them. All right. So you have Knicks in
no.
6. I have Knicks in 5. All right. Let's go to the next one. And we're only going to do the games that are currently that have opponents playing each other, not playing potential yet, because those aren't decided yet. All
Nope.
right, so all right, so Cavs and Raptors. You kind of gave me an idea. You believe the Raptors win this in 7, I believe, correct?
Yep, Raptors in 7 because I'm accounting for the addition of Harden onto the Cleveland roster. Adding to their scoring, I'm also accounting for the fact that the Raptors' play has slipped from the first half of the season to the second
Mm,
half of the season. That should pretty much bring them right to the land of even.
okay.
However, it might be in Cleveland's heads that the Raptors did sweep the season series.
Yeah. All right.
And I think it's in the Raptors' heads too. I think the Raptors wanted this matchup. I think they needed this matchup.
Okay.
They needed a good they they needed a chance to get at a team that
Hmm.
they've had dominance
Right.
over this season.
Well,
Raptors in seven.
I look at this and listen, I respect what the Raptors have done. But at the end of the day, the three meetings that the Raptors beat them, it was a different Cavs team back then. And honestly, if we learned anything, when the Knicks struggled against some of the top dogs and then they ended up beating them in the playoffs, I wouldn't look past that Cleveland can't do it also. I think Cleveland could shock some people here. Kenny Atkinson's learned some things. I think I think it's gonna go up to be a deep series, but I think Cleveland wins this in 6 games. I think this will go six, and I think Cleveland will have a couple plays of execution on big possessions that will give them the series win against the Raptors. Look, it'll be close, it'll be competitive, no doubt, it'll be high scoring. I feel like this will be a series where you're going to see Harden show up. Call me crazy. Maybe this is one series I think Harden will make a big impact. My personal opinion. All right, now to the West. So, Rockets Lakers. How do we feel about this one?
Rockets in five. I mean,
I know you're being
as much.
generous. You're being very generous to even give them one, to even give it a 5 game series.
No, I'm not. Honestly, I feel conflicted. I want to say Rockets in six,
Mm,
but because I want to give the slight possibility that LeBron James is just still the best basketball player of this century.
mm,
But
yeah.
at the end and that the Rockets, even though this roster has been to the playoffs before, last year they had a good showing. Now Durant's with them. Kevin Durant has historically choked.
Yes.
LeBron hasn't historically choked, but when he's been the guy to be historically relied upon to win, he hasn't necessarily gotten the job done either.
Mm. Yeah, I
So,
mean,
but at this point, Kevin Durant is bringing along a better roster than LeBron is.
yeah,
So I have to go
yeah,
with the fact that I trust the cast of characters around Kevin Durant more than I trust the
yeah.
cast of characters
That's fair.
around LeBron James.
That's definitely fair. It's definitely fair. Look,
Rockets in
If Luca and
five.
Reeves were playing, this would have been a completely different series, obviously.
Oh, if Luca and Reeves were playing, I
Oh,
would have
it's
said
Lakers winning
Lakers
this
in
series,
six.
easy, easy. But yeah, unfortunately, I know you're being generous to give them a game.
No, I'm
I
not.
don't think the
I
Lakers win a
told you I
game.
think the Lakers.
I think the
You're out of
Lakers
your
get
mind.
swept. I think they're
Nope,
getting
you're
swept.
wrong.
I
You're
think
dead
it's a
ass
4-0
wrong.
sweep Rockets. I'm sorry.
I put money on that. You're wrong.
Well, we'll see what comes out of that at the end. All right, now final game.
LeBron will score at least 40 points twice in this series.
Well, he's going to have to because they really have no other offense besides him right now. Unless Bronny takes a little, eats his spinach, and suddenly can put up 20 points.
I can do it, Papa. Oh God.
Well, we'll see what happens. All right, now the last game: Nuggets Timberwolves. How do we see this one going? Well,
There's your sweep.
I mean, it's if Anthony Edwards is not even up to 100%, I could see it being a sweep.
The
I
Timberwolves are the team that need to be blown up, blown apart.
So you think Chris Finch is out the door?
Yeah, this is
Finch is
this.
out. Okay. So you think Randall, DiVincenzo? Well, obviously Naz Reid probably could probably be out the door, along with maybe Gobert goes with him, maybe McDaniel too. Obviously Anthony Edwards is not going anywhere. They're not dealing Ant Man. What about Randall? You think he stays?
No,
You think DiVincenzo stays,
everybody's on the block.
except Anthony Edwards?
Yep,
Well,
everyone's on the block.
well, then Anthony Edwards better have a lot of input on what he wants around him to ensure the Timberwolves are even going to be competitive going into the next number of years. Because anything short of anything when you start getting to losing seasons, Ant-Man's going to want out as quick as possible. I'm sorry to
Yep.
say. So, all right, you're saying a sweep at the hands of
Yep.
the Nuggets. All right, I'm going to be a
Yeah.
little nice. I'm going to say it's a gentleman's sweep. 5 games. I feel like Minnesota will win at least one. Okay, I think Minnesota could win at least one. That's as nice as I'm going to go with the Timberwolves. I'm sorry. The Nuggets have way too much more depth. Jamal Murray and Jokic, if they're on, are going to cook them, and it's not even close.
Yeah, the reason I say it's a sweep is because I see the Lakers at least giving a lot more effort than Minnesota.
And look, they'll give them
Minnesota
a
looks
fight.
like
Every
they
team's going to give each other a fight. That's not even. That's
Minnesota looks like they like the season ended weeks ago.
so it looks like they're going through the motions. Is that what we're going with
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Hmm. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But again,
They
I'm
haven't
willing to
played like they
let's see
haven't
how things
played like
go.
they haven't played like they've given a shit.
Well, well, when a
Like,
team has checked out.
are you telling me that, you were angling to play the Nuggets? Really?
Look, that's the thing. People look. Some of these games, you could clearly tell teams were trying to tank or lose for particular opponents they felt like they match up better with, and they wanted to tip the scales in their favor. But
No, I could tell that Minnesota was just like mentally they're just finished.
they look
Not
checked
that they're
out to
not
you.
trying, they just look lost, defeated, flabbergasted, and done.
No, they've been inconsistent. That's not wrong. They've been inconsistent all year. That's definitely not incorrect.
I mean,
Yeah,
they could turn it on in the postseason.
yeah.
I mean, we've seen
But
teams
they've
do it,
lost
but
games that they've lost games they shouldn't have lost. They won a few games that maybe people thought they shouldn't have won. But they've lost more of the games that they shouldn't have lost to the games that they should have won or shouldn't have
yeah.
won. You know what I mean?
I
It
mean,
definitely gets to that point.
they're lucky they're not in the play-in situation.
Mhm. Well, I'll tell you what,
They're really lucky.
we are now down to the final 18 and a half seconds. Brandon Miller hit a huge three. The Hornets are down 112 to 111 with 18 and a half seconds to play.
Woo!
So it's going to come down to the very end with this game. Look, you want the playing games to be like this. Look, this might for all of us, this could be a little appetizer to what the NBA playoffs are going to look like. Because I feel like we're going to see every game played tooth and nail compared to last year. Even though, look, a lot of series, look, we had some classic playoff games last year. Amazing. They're not even arguing it. I think we're going to see even more of it this year than we did last year. I could be wrong.
In the Eastern Conference is going to look real, real good. The
Yeah.
Western Conference in the first round,
Yeah. It's good to see,
not
though,
so
that the
much.
Eastern Conference is back to a level of respect and relevancy again. Because how many years was the Eastern Conference ridiculed with, just there's just not many good teams. You had how many times over the past did the Eastern Conference have maybe like 5 out of the 10 games you had teams with losing records that are playoff
Yeah,
teams?
like it would be you know, the first five teams in the East have winning records. The sixth seed would be 500, and then the seventh and eighth seeds would have like losing records.
Right.
That would be the Eastern Conference. And now we're literally talking about 1 through 5 could potentially beat one
Yeah.
in the
I
West.
mean, that's look.
Granted, two, 3, and 5 are monsters. But that just shows you how you could win a whole lot of games and be the 1 seed, but still be in danger. For example,
Mhm.
Detroit at the end of the season didn't look so great. They kind of limped into the
Yeah.
postseason, in my opinion. How
Well,
are we
I
looking with this
mean,
Charlotte game?
all right. Well, obviously now with these final seconds, and how close the game is, both teams are going to be playing foul, are just going to play foul the other, and it's going to come down to free throws, obviously. All right, well, Tyler Hero just hit 2 big free throws with 12 at point nine. Timeout Hornets. It's 114, 111 Heat. And obviously, if you're the opposing team on defense, you're playing not to foul in these final seconds. You're trying to let them score a free 2 points. Don't let them beat you with a 3. Right now, the Hornets are the desperate team right now. They're the team that's desperate right now. Now, Brandon Miller hit a big 3.
If I was Miami, I'd foul.
Yeah, well, just to make sure you foul and it's not going to be in the act of a 3-point shot and just force two free throws, fine. But we've seen too many teams do this. We've seen too many NBA teams foul on the 3-point attempt. And obviously, being the importance of these games, every little foul call, as controversial as it will look, could that call that's not made to what is made in these playoffs is more magnified. I'm telling you, it's magnified.
I agree, but the second you see your defense starting to break down, foul.
Yeah. Well, you have to not give the team a little momentum to get to that down the court. That's what you definitely don't want to do. But obviously now both sides are just going to, with these final seconds, you're going to be exchanging, taking your defenders out for your offense. You're going to keep doing that switch out. And obviously, of course, that's what you need to do.
Yep.
I'd figure, yeah, if you're the Heat, you want to foul pretty quick. Well, you want to. Oh, well, speak of the devil, another 3 by the Hornets.
Oh, boy.
You just got to love how these Hornets hit big threes, don't you? You got to just love it.
Who drained that one?
Well, we're about to find out in a minute. Well, Miller hit the last one that made it 112, 111 before the Heat hit 2 free throws. Now, here's going to be the deal, though, here. With 10 seconds, the Heat can hold for the last possession to try to either get this to overtime. It was Kobe White hitting the 3 for the Hornets to tie it up.
Oh, boy.
Talk about a journeyman. So we're about to see what happens here.
The end of the regular season is so fun.
This is a play-in. It's not regular season. This is basically a playoff game.
What a way to end the regular season.
You mean what a way to start the postseason? What a way to start postseason, not regular season. It's postseason. P-O-S-T season.
End of the regular season. Like, this is the end of regular season tournament.
No, it's a playoff.
You have the mid-season tournament and with the NBA tournament. And
you have a 9 versus a 10 seed that clinched a spot to be in this game. So this is not a play. This is not a post. Not a regular season game. It's a playoff game. It's postseason. I'll look it up here. I'm going to look it up. Is the play-in considered a playoff game? I can't believe I have to go to Google to read this. I'm going to look it up on old Google. Okay. I can't believe I have to actually do this.
I don't consider it a playoff. The NBA can say what it wants. The playoffs are 1 through 8. And this is just like extra special end of season, regular season tournament.
Okay, now here's the deal with what I'm reading here. Well, it's not going to be a playoff game for playoff statistics, but it's part of postseason. So,
but it's not the playoffs, is it?
But postseason. So we're both kind of right. We're both kind of right in this argument.
So it's the end of the regular season tournament.
But it's part of postseason. I'm reading it right here. You're calling it not playoff. You're calling it not playoff, but I'm saying it's part of postseason. But it's part of postseason.
But it's basically the end of the regular season to determine who gets in to the actual playoffs. It's the end of regular season tournament.
We can have this argument. Look, we can have this argument back and forth. You're calling it not a playoff series. I feel like it is. Not. It's saying it's part of postseason, even though the playoff statistics are not going to count.
It's a game.
I know it's a one. Okay, so then let me get this point. By the way,
it's a mini tournament.
All right. By the way, we're going to overtime. 114 all.
That's not even like a happy. It's not even like a happy meal. It's like going to McDonald's and ordering a chicken McNugget. It's like going to Burger King and getting a French fry. It's like going to Raising Cane's and saying, "Can I get a dipping sauce?"
I love Raising Cane's. I love their chicken tenders. Best chicken I've ever eaten, by the way. Better than even Burger King. And
I bet
no,
you it is.
way better. I've gone to Raising
I
Cane's
wish I
multiple
couldn't
times.
eat
I
it.
can tell you. I've gone to Raising Cane's on many occasions. I can tell you that.
Oh, it is good. Like I've heard multiple good things about it. Like I
Yeah.
can't have gluten anymore.
There's going to be one coming on Flap. They're building one on Flatbush Avenue as we speak right now. Flatbush
I
Avenue
think
is
it
going to get a.
opened.
Oh, I still can't even tell if it opened. It looks like it still hasn't
No,
opened. Like,
no, it opened. I've seen cars going through it.
oh, okay. So they must have just opened recently then. Okay, good. Well, then there you go.
Yeah. So now
Check
you
out the
could
Raising
go.
Cane's
Now
on
you
Flatbush
could.
Avenue near Avenue R. Great
Yeah.
one.
Now you could go get your. Now you can go get your chicken fix, or you go to first. You go to Society House. Then, when you're done at Society House, when you get the munchies, you go to Raising Cane's and get your chicken fix.
Very well.
Perfect.
All right. On that note, we've given you our playoff predictions and the playoff matchups we're going to have. The play-ins are going on as we speak. The Hornets and the Heat are going to overtime tied at 114. A game that the Heat virtually were in pretty good control of, but the Hornets just kept fighting back. Who wins in overtime? Who's taking this home? Winner goes on, loser goes home. The NBA playoffs officially begin once everything is complete on April 18th. The Knicks will play Saturday, game 1 against Atlanta.
I will
Everyone
actually, I will actually be in Harlem
in Harlem, huh?
on April 18th. I'm actually going to be letting people know about the services. They can get summer services at the Harlem PAL.
You're
So
gonna be at Rucker
we'll see you over
Park.
there.
You're gonna be at Rucker Park or something.
No, Harlem PAL.
Oh, Harlem. Okay, okay, okay. I thought maybe it
So
had a
I'll
connection to
actually
Rucker
be over
Park,
there.
perhaps, but
No, but I'm actually going to be over at the Harlem PAL on Saturday. So I'll be in Manhattan when the playoffs begin
mm-hmm.
on Saturday.
Beautiful.
It's going to be awesome.
All right. On that note, that's going to conclude this edition of Downtown Sports. I want to thank Chris DeLarge. I want to thank Tony Mainville. And of course, a shout out to our friends at the Professional Fanatics podcast. You can listen to Downtown Sports. We're on 25 different platforms. We are on Spotify. We're on Spotify for creators, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Bullhorn, Podbay, Listen Notes, Podcast Addict, Verbal, Castro.fm, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, Podvine, Podyssey, Odyssey, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, YouTube Studio, and YouTube. Episodes, rants, digital market battle specials every week. We are Downtown Sports, and we are where sports come home.
You know what? The playoffs are such a fun time, but as a New Yorker, as a Knicks fan,
Nobody's happy. No one's happy.
yeah,
Knicks get to the playoffs, people complain.
no one's happy. Everybody's pissed.
Knicks get more wins with Brown than they did last year with Tibbs, people complain.
Well, they didn't look as good doing it.
Okay, but like every little thing, someone, if the Knicks win a game, people are going to say, oh, this team didn't have all its guys. Or this team didn't take them seriously.
Yep.
And then when the Knicks lose a game, it's like, oh, whole team's in shambles. End the season. End it. Throw it away.
That's what it's like. That's what it's like when you're from New York City, when you're rep New York City, when everything you are is New York City.
And I love it. And I love it.
The scrutiny is just that much worse.
Trust me, I'd rather have scrutiny for that we're actually a legit team than have scrutiny that we're a crap team. Trust me. I'll take that any day of the week.
Everybody hates me. Everybody hates me. Nobody likes me. They all want me to eat some worms.
I wish the Yankees and the Mets could be a relevant team again at some point. Yankees right now.
The Mets aren't relevant.
Well, the Yankees were getting blown out by the Angels. I don't know how they even won last night. How they won last night is a miracle.
You started to bring up the Mets. I was having Society House products. I wasn't even coughing. You brought up the Mets. I started getting sick, John.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, how's it? Well, I don't mean to make you more sick. They've gone 20 innings now. 20 straight innings without scoring a run.
Damn it, where's the bucket?
Yeah, I know. I'd be throwing up too if I was watching the garbage I'm seeing on the baseball field these last couple of games.
You know what? We're going to have a YouTube special about this. You're going to see that video on YouTube
Let's
But for
let things play
now,
out a little bit with the season. I don't want to jump to conclusions. We're only in mid-April, right? Okay. Teams start off hot, they go on a skid. But if this continues into another month,
no, I gotta talk about it. I have to because this is a
well,
problem.
we'll talk about it on the other side. We'll talk about it on the other side of this episode, all
We
in good
will.
time. But right now, Jonathan Perriente, Beast of the East, Mouth of the South, John Schiavone, saying goodbye. Thank you for watching.